President Biden just threw a curveball right at every EV manufacturer out there. He practically shouted from the rooftops that electric vehicles are the future and everyone needs to get on board ASAP. Why on earth are people suddenly giving EVs the cold shoulder, especially when Biden has been dishing out EV incentives like candy on Halloween? The EV market is crashing left and right, companies bleeding money, and Ford taking a hit of whooping $36,000 on each vehicle sold. Yup, you heard it right. Ford's feeling the financial sting. GM is doing the money dance of loss, and even Tesla, the golden child of the EV world, had to lower its prices. Biden's been on this mission, a crusade if you will, to make EVs the new cool kid on the block. But the middle class are not exactly throwing confetti at the EV parade. It's like they're saying, hold on Uncle Joe, we loved our good old combustion engines. Why the sudden EV push? And here's the real juicy scoop. Folks aren't thrilled about being strong-armed into the EV world by political agendas. The government's out here playing puppet master, pulling the strings and forcing car makers to shift to EVs, even if it means throwing the middle class under the bus. Ouch, it's a total showdown between the nostalgic love for the roaring engines of yesteryear and the push for a green electric future. President Biden is pulling out all the stops to keep the EV bubble from going up in the flames. It's like a desperate attempt to save the day, or at least save face. The public is yearning for the good old days where the smell of gasoline filled the air and they could rev their engines without worrying about the EV revolution breathing down their necks. He's been waving the EV flag high, trying to shoo away our beloved combustion engines. But guess what? Over 3,000 car dealers, yes, you heard it right, 3,000 of them are basically forming a human wall, telling Biden to ease up on the gas pedal of this plan. Hold on, why would they do that, you ask? These dealers are from every nook and cranny of the US, representing all the major car brands you can imagine. They're throwing up the caution sign, waving it frantically, and they're saying there's no real demand for these shiny electric wonders. Now these dealers, with their fingers on the pulse of the car market, are claiming that despite all the initial excitement and hype around EVs, the reality is more meh. Biden's been on this mission to make 50% of car purchases electric by 2030. A total game changer, right? Especially when you consider that in the current market only a measly 4% of cars sold are electric. It's like trying to turn a cruise ship on a dime. These dealers are reporting that EVs are just chilling on their lots, collecting dust like forgotten relics. It's a massive red flag waving in the breeze. They're spilling the beans on a few big issues that make EV less appealing than a weekend road trip. First up, the lack of charging spots. Imagine getting a new shiny EV and realizing there's nowhere to charge it. Talk about a buzzkill. And then there's the energy grid. It's not exactly ready for a massive EV takeover. People are thinking, why drop 60 or 70 grand on a car that can only go 250 miles on a charge? Fair point, right? Now let's dive into the battery drama. There's a whole saga involving minerals needed for these batteries, and a bunch of them come from places like China. Fun fact, China's like the rockstone of the global EV market, producing a whooping 75% of all lithium-ion batteries. They're holding the keys to the EV kingdom, and that's a bit concerning. Now back to the dealers. They're basically sending a message to Biden saying, hey, let's hit the brakes and give some serious thought. They want battery technology to level up, for EVs to become budget-friendly, and for the US to find its own stash of minerals. Plus they're shouting, let the public choose EVs willingly, not because they're being bossed around by regulations. Now look at the jaw-dropping stats. Gas-powered cars made up a whooping 93% of new car sales in 2022. And when it comes to cash, EVs are still playing catch-up, being pricier and less efficient than other options. But wait, there is more. Even big shots like Ford and GM are doing a double take on their EV strategies. Ford scaled back its battery factory plans, and GM slammed the brakes on its EV production targets, citing a need to adjust to the slowing growth in the EV sales. Balance is the name of the game. EVs could totally be part of the future, but it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. There needs to be a realistic approach, one that takes into account that we, the consumers, actually want the technological readiness and the economic implications. It's not just about zooming into an electric future. It's about finding the right gear. Critics are side-eyeing these efforts, arguing that they're more about making EVs the cool kids on the block rather than directly addressing the elephant in the room, the high cost of these futuristic rides. Let's break down some moves. First up, the EV charging action plan. Sure, we need a network of charging spots like we need air to breathe for EV adoption, but it's a long-term project. It's not putting money back in our pockets right now. And let's be real, we need a fix for the financial struggle of potential EV buyers ASAP. Now the domestic EV manufacturing industry is moving. Biden's throwing a whooping $9 billion at Ford to make EVs. It's like a financial feast for Ford. But here's the twist. He's practically told foreign brands, sorry folks, no EV incentives for you. Our consumers want American, even if it comes with a hefty price tag. It's a bold strategy, but is that the right one? While these initiatives are painting a grand picture for an EV-dominant future, the reality check hits hard. It's like trying to build a sandcastle and the waves keep washing it away. The plan isn't as smooth as a well-oiled machine. Turns out American families aren't exactly doing the electric side into the world of EVs. Big names in the car biz like GM and Ford are feeling the heat. They've pumped billions into these electric beauties. But now they're hitting their brakes. GM's getting cold feet about expanding its electric truck production, and Ford slamming the brakes on its massive EV plant in Michigan. It's like they hit an unexpected speed bump. And we're here to spill the details. So what do dealers do when EVs are gathering dust in their lots? Shiny EVs are out there with price tags slashed like a Black Friday sale. But even with these tempting price cuts, these electric rides are still a hefty hit to the wallet. Did you know that EVs are now some of the slowest moving items in car lots? They're taking ages to sell compared to their gas-powered cousins. And for dealers, that's money just sitting there twiddling its thumbs. Despite all the discounts, EVs are still pretty pricey. Take for example, a gleaming electric Ford F-150. It can set you back a cool $50,000. Now compare that to a regular F-150 at less than $37,000. And you see the problem. Even with tax credits thrown into the mix, the price gap is a tough pill to swallow. The former President Donald Trump was not shy about sharing his skepticism towards the rapid shift to EVs. He's like that old school dude who loves the roar of a gas engine and isn't sold on the whole silent, battery-powered car thing. Trump says EVs too expensive, not practical enough, and a potential threat to the traditional auto industry. He's basically saying, hey, you're putting all your eggs in one expensive, unproven basket. Trump's big on his idea of economic nationalism, worrying that EV mandates could spell trouble for the US auto industry. Why go all in on this new tech that's still finding its feet, right? He's concerned about jobs, the industry's future, and America's place in the car world. In contrast, Biden's all about pushing EVs forward. He set ambitious targets for EV sales, backing it up with big investments in charging infrastructure. But, and it's a big but, this has caused some worry among union workers. They're asking, what about our jobs? Are we going to be left in the dust in this electric rush? In the grand scheme of things, this major push for the EVs could seriously hurt the market if cars makers keep ignoring the consumers just to listen to political leaders. We might even see a day when a major legacy car maker could close its doors. It's a wild ride, and we want to know what you think. Are EVs the only future, or should hybrids get another shot at the limelight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, stay curious and keep those wheels turning.